guys, welcome back to the Full Send Podcast. We have Vlad, the founder of Robinhood. Very, very interesting episode. Before we get into it, you guys know the deal. The big game is this Sunday. I am absolutely nuking a Prize Picks lineup this weekend. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm still crafting it. Follow me on Prize Picks at Kyle. It'll be up there soon. I'm still making some last minute decisions. If you guys have any good tips or pick ideas, DM me on Instagram too, because I'm gonna be chefing up my picks soon. But I'm taking the Patriots to win, because on Prize Picks, if you guys didn't know, obviously you can do your player lineup, but you can also choose who's gonna win the big game. Absolute game changer for the app. Also, there's a max discount you guys need to be aware of. Drake May, he only needs 1 passing yard. Add that into your lineup. It's just gonna boost your entire pick. Also, if you guys have never tried out the Prize Picks app, for some reason, use code NELK. Plug that in when you download the app and put in just $5 and you're gonna get $50 for free. Take advantage of code NELK. I am so fired up for this Sunday. This is like Prize Picks heaven. Download the Prize Picks app. It's available in so many different states, including California and Texas. I'm gonna be watching the game at the Prize Picks headquarters. It's gonna be electric. Let's get into the pot.
I like that one too, but I don't want to get a John Mayer or like a watch named John Mayer, you know?
Are you AP or no?
I know a little bit. I don't have
you seen
any.
a ceramic skeleton?
Is it a Royal?
Yeah, Royal Oak.
Yeah.
I don't get paid quite enough yet to get that, but
yeah,
hopefully in a year or two when these guys.
Well, Steiny's wearing timepiece trading hat and shirt on the last 3 pods.
What do you have there? Is that also a
presidential?
Oh shit! I thought you were talking to me.
Yeah.
Oh, look at mine.
I know yours.
So you're a big watch guy.
I wouldn't say big. I kind of got into it recently.
Yeah.
I like the mechanics and the engineering of it, you know?
Yeah.
So I started just like getting complications. Yeah, so sort of got into it through that.
What's that piece you got there?
This is a Sky Dweller.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's the most complicated Rolex ever made. So it's like a big, thick, complicated guy. Not to talk about other podcasts, but the Acquired podcast.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard the Rolex one?
No, I have that one saved. I'm in the middle of the Google one right now.
Oh, the 3-parter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one
yeah,
too.
It's a really good one.
Part 3, really good.
Oh, I haven't been there.
But yeah, basically like Rolex hasn't made a new watch in like 75 years. This is kind of the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like a new fundamental mechanism. So this is it's a big, I think the Sky Dweller is like a relatively big deal because they just, like they're a company that, it's like a Porsche 911, right? Once you get the basic design, you just kind of like makes small tweaks. So
how many, are you the first one to have that?
No. I got this retail. Yeah. One of the last to have it.
Well, we all got a Rollies on, right?
Yeah.
No.
What are you rocking?
John's got an
Sample
Apple Watch.
Shahidi?
Apple Watch. Yeah, I got to get my steps.
We got the president of Happy Eye with us for this one, John. We had to sub Salim out. And we also got Vlad, the CEO, co-founder of Robinhood, the biggest platform in the world in your space, right?
Thank you guys. Yeah. Glad to be here.
Harmonic too.
Harmonic too.
Harmonic,
we
the
gotta
new
get to
AI
Harmonic.
app. We want to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Do we know how many users Robinhood currently has?
About 27 million. Yeah.
Wow.
27 million accounts, mostly in the US, but large and increasingly growing international presence too.
I'm really interested. It would be sick to take it back and just kind of get your story of how you started. How did you get into launching the app Robinhood?
It was a bit of a meandering path. You know, when I grew up, I didn't really know about entrepreneurship. So I came to the West Coast to go to Stanford. And Stanford, as you guys probably know, is sort of a epicenter of entrepreneurial activity. I mean, you not only have the school, but you have the venture capital industry. You have a bunch of big companies like Google and Meta now, but like a long history. So I came to Stanford to study physics and switched to math. So I was sort of like outside the typical entrepreneurial lane. You know, I didn't go there with the intent of being an entrepreneur, but you're exposed to it for sure. And I think that planted a little bit of understanding. So actually, when I graduated Stanford, I went to UCLA to pursue a math PhD. And my career goal at that time, or my perception of what I would be a math professor. I thought I would be, one of those guys that sitting in an office with a couch and a chalkboard thinking and coming up with new math proofs. And my first month in grad school, Lehman Brothers went under. So you had the start of the global financial crisis. And my co-founder and best friend from college, who had gotten a job, he was also a math and physics guy, so we met through that. He had gotten a job at an algorithmic trading firm. Basically, you can think of it as a hedge fund that trades its own partners' money, so no customers. But he had gotten a job at an algorithmic trading firm up in Marin County, just north of San Francisco. His first month on the job, my first month in grad school, Lehman Brothers went under, the start of the global financial crisis. So he calls me up and he said, hey, this might sound like a crazy idea. If you ask your parents whether the global financial crisis would be a great time to start a financial company, they would probably think that it was a terrible idea. But I think we should do it. And I thought about it a little bit, and I said, "Why the hell not? Let's go. Let's. This is new. I'm young. Let's try this thing." And one thing led to another. So Robinhood wasn't the first idea we had; it was actually the third. We had a couple that were relatively fast failures, but it's like an animal that I really appreciate is the hedgehog. Right. The hedgehog just like finds a spot on the ground and it just keeps digging and digging and digging. And eventually you get this like big, elaborate underground structure. And I think that's what ended up happening with Robinhood. We sort of like started understanding the financial problem. And then you get deeper and deeper and deeper, and you can kind of draw a straight line to where we are today.
Would you say part of the problem that you also solved at the time was most banks and most brokerages, their mobile presence was very like bad. Like
Yeah.
and I remember once when we have a mutual friend, Ron Rofi, and he was telling me about Robinhood, and I was like, well, what's the difference? I think at the time I was trading on E-Trade. And he's like, dude, way easier, way simpler. This new generation is going to understand how to use this. And I remember when I downloaded Robinhood, I was like, wait, that's it? So I think that's a big problem that you had solved back then. Now everyone's trying to duplicate it. You see
well, also, and at the time, I don't know when you started, but up until relatively recently, E-Trade was charging you $7.95 a trade.
Yes.
And
you didn't have that. And I remember he told me that, and I said, "How's that possible? How do you not pay for a trade?" He said, "No, there's no fees. Trust me. Go buy something, and you're not going to pay anything." So so there was that pain point of the transactions, but I think that was a big thing. Even going back to like social apps back then and everything, you just made everything so much more intuitive as well. And I think that's where the young people were able to understand Robinhood.
I think there was a perfect storm of three things. Number one, the mobile revolution, as you point out. Financial companies were late to adopt mobile. And it was kind of like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Amazon first came out in the 90s, it was a little bit of a... people had to get over a hump to be able to put their credit card into a website to buy things. There was just like this idea that it's a new thing. It doesn't really feel particularly secure. Of course, now we understand it's probably much more secure than reading your number out over the phone. But back then there was a lot of hesitancy. And at the time when we started Robinhood, a lot of people didn't think that their serious financial matters could be done on a phone app. They thought phone apps were for games. And so we had to overcome that. The other thing was the commissions, right? Everyone else was charging $7 to $10 per transaction. We lowered it to $0, which was very disruptive. And then the third thing was people were just kind of like disillusioned with the state of the financial system after the financial crisis. So the financial crisis sowed some seeds of disillusionment, because a lot of people saw their friends, maybe their parents, losing their jobs. And then the recovery over the next 5 to 10 years was very much unevenly distributed. So the financial crisis itself was kind of perceived as this sort of like screw up by the financial industry. You know, there were these subprime mortgages, these risky bets that went the wrong way, and you know, the entire market collapsed as a result of it. Nobody was punished, nobody went to jail, right? And the recovery just accrued to the wealthiest people, the top 1%. And so you had a lot of,
Lack of trust.
You had the Occupy Wall Street movement. You had all of this sort of like societal frustration that manifested as just a lack of trust in the big financial companies. And so I think a new brand, the door opened for a new brand in the space. And I think Robinhood really resonated with people because it was a little bit more of a optimistic view. It wasn't, we weren't saying with Robinhood that, you know, the entire system is broken, let's burn it to the ground. We were instead saying, if we make it easier to plug as many people as possible, you become an owner in, you know, the best companies and what America's building, then maybe that could lead to not just you doing better as an individual, but like a stabler and more prosperous society.
Yeah.
When did you notice more active monthly users? Like, how did you get to 27 million? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, I think that...
Like, was there a moment when you guys looked at the stats and you're like, holy shit, we have...
Oh, how do we end up with 27
and
million?
how did you achieve... what did you notice that you guys did to achieve more?
Yeah, I think the story of Robinhood was really, you know, consistent product improvements that led to compounding growth. There were also these moments that were sort of like these seminal moments where we had huge increases in growth in a relatively short amount of time. So, for example, I still remember the Snap IPO. And Snap was very much sort of like a Gen Z, younger millennials company, and everyone was excited about it. And at the time, that was our biggest day ever, right? When Snap went public, and a lot of us don't remember it because it was so long ago. And but yeah, like that was like a company of our generation going public for the first time. And then we had big elements like Brexit, the 2016 presidential election, where we had spikes of growth. We had COVID, obviously, which was probably the first time we had growth that we weren't prepared for.
I was going to say, COVID was the first time I used Robinhood.
Yeah, I mean, that was just like 3 big waves converging to make it so that investing goes from maybe like the 15th thing in line that people think about to like top 3.
Well, I was going to say, I had no background, didn't know what I was doing, got Robinhood, and it was just so easy to use. Like once you deposit, I remember I was like pen gaming Win Resorts for the 2 I bought. And I was like, of course you want to make money, but I was like, yo, this is so much fun and so easy to use. And everyone in my circle was kind of doing the same thing. Yeah. So I guess just that time is when I started using it. I don't know if you ever used it, but that's really what changed for me. And then it makes you so interested, but it was just how easy it was to do it. I couldn't even figure out E-Trade. I don't know if E-Trade was tough, but something about
E-Trade around still?
Yeah.
Is that, I know it's a dumb question, but I don't never hear about anyone using E-Trade.
Yeah. So what happened with the retail brokerage industry is you have a bunch of these companies that basically were not prepared for Robinhood's entry into the space. And at first they sort of weren't taking us very seriously. They're like, well, you know, our customers don't really like mobile trading. They prefer to pay commissions. I think if you read the reactions to, you know, the industry to Robinhood in the early days, it was a lot of just like
how Blockbuster
dismissal, right?
Like how Blockbuster looked at Netflix.
Yeah, I think very similar. And then what happened was in 2019, they had to scramble, and pretty much all of our competitors had realized within a period of a couple of weeks that they had to replicate our business model, which was crazy. I'd never seen anything like that. I didn't think it was possible, but like one after the other, within the span of a couple of weeks, all of our big competitors replicated our business model. They said, we're going were going to zero commissions. And what happened was TD Ameritrade and E-Trade, when they announced this, and they kind of had their hand forced because it wasn't just us anymore, but their other big competitors, their stocks went down by like 35% in one day. So I mean, it was a bloodbath. The best analog that I can give, and this hasn't happened, was, let's say you're a legacy car maker, and all of the legacy car makers within the period of a couple of weeks said, we're going fully electric. That's like the equivalent of what happened in the brokerage industry. And as a result of that, two of the big players, E-Trade and TD Ameritrade, couldn't continue on as standalone companies. So they got gobbled up by bigger conglomerates. TD Ameritrade became part of Charles Schwab. E-Trade became a part of Morgan Stanley. Oh, okay. So there's just a wave of industry consolidation into these like large asset managers.
I feel like Robinhood has, and the reason I was talking about like the COVID is it has like this perception that it's like a beginner app. So it's like first users that want to get into the stock market. Would you agree that it still kind of has that representation of this is for new traders, people new to the game?
Yeah, I think that for a while that was our number one focus. We were laser focused on being the best place to get started investing, and that was just all that, like 100% of our energy, and you can think of our marketing went toward that. But it's not the case anymore. Now Robinhood has expanded, and we have some of the most sophisticated tools for active traders. So some people go through different paths. Some people start investing in trading, and then they want to get more sophisticated, more active. They start getting interested in things like options or futures, other derivatives. And, they, start trading on desktop with like their 6 screens with the charts and everything. So we have a path for those customers. We rolled out a product on desktop called Robinhood Legend, which I think is the best and also the fastest improving active trading product. That's been doing really, really well. And we have some people that, they want to invest. They don't need to be at the absolute frontier. They just want to be able to buy stocks, build a diversified portfolio. We have tools for them. We rolled out this awesome product, Robinhood Strategies, which you can think of as a just invest button on your phone. I want to put money into an account. I want, Robinhood to handle everything for me and put me in reasonable stuff. Completely set it and forget it, reasonable tax optimizations, things like that. So we do that. And, a big part of what we've also been doing recently is just expanding to fill all of your financial needs. Like you should never have a reason to take money out of your Robinhood account, and we should be able to help you with good products across all of your financial needs.
Well, they got excited, speaking of taking money out of Robinhood account, about the new feature, the partnership with GoPuff.
Oh yeah,
that is crazy.
Oh my God. Wait,
so
is this the cash delivery?
Can you explain that to us?
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty simple. There's a product called Robinhood Banking, which I think is the best banking product out there right now. It's different than the other neobanks. The other neobanks tend to go after a paycheck to paycheck customer, right? So it's sort of like you go to 7-Eleven to get cash. We wanted to do it differently. We wanted to give you a digital private banking experience. So imagine you're a high net worth individual and you go into sort of like your beautiful private bank lobby with the marble columns and mahogany desk, and you get treated like a VIP. That's what we want to recreate. One thing that wealthy people have is they're not going to like the ATM in the Tenderloin to get their cash, right? They have a truck delivering cash to their house. There was a great company called First Republic Bank. Maybe you guys have heard of it. It didn't survive the banking crisis of a couple years ago, but their shtick was great service, private banking, high end, and they served a lot of like founders and entrepreneurs in the Bay Area in particular, but not a great digital experience, brick and mortar. And they had this. They had like the cash truck deliver money to your house, so you don't have to go to an ATM. So then we asked ourselves, can we take that experience, which is really nice and legitimately very useful, and make it available to the mass market? And then we realized, well, you can get your food delivered. You can get, a car coming to your house to take you from place to place. Why can't we do the same for financial services? Why don't we? And there's been sort of this idea that the bank branch is obsolete and should be replaced by technology. But we're not quite there. There's still a lot of things you have to go to a bank branch for, cash being the most important. So you can think of cash delivery as our first step and the biggest step to digitizing the entire banking experience with no compromises. Like it should be better, not worse, to remove the branch. And I don't think a lot of people have gotten that right about digital banking.
But can you just like walk us through? So if I need a couple grand, I can go on Robinhood, and then it's partnered with GoPuff, and I can get 2K just delivered to my house within an hour.
Yeah, you can within. I did it a couple weeks ago. It was like 15 minutes.
Is $2,000 the max?
I think $2,000 is currently the max, and it's still rolling out. I think it's live in California and New York, and expanding from there. So there's nothing magical about the max. It's just we have to start somewhere.
Is there an hour limit on it? Like does it work at like 3 a.m.?
I think.
I'm just wondering for you.
Why is that?
I'm just wondering.
Why would I need $2,000 at 3 a.m.?
I'm wondering the hours of operation.
We do get this question. I think right now it's not 24/7.
Okay.
But nothing's stopping it from being 24/7.
Are you guys the first ones to do this?
I mean, I'm sure others have. There are ways to get cash delivered. For First Republic, sort of like being
we
an
have
example.
our ways as well.
Yeah. But
I
don't think anyone's doing anything like what we're doing, which is sort of like a digital, almost like, call it DoorDash experience for getting your cash.
I think that's the coolest thing ever. Nothing's worse than having to go sit at the fucking bank and wait for maybe 30, 45 minutes to get,
Also, if you think about it, if you're in a major city and you need cash, and let's say like you're a young woman, right, and you have to go to the ATM, there's a legitimate safety concern, right, where it's like, well, I need to find someone to go with me. This is kind of sketchy. A lot of the ATMs are just covered in graffiti. You have the card skimmers. So yeah, I think it's obviously people like to talk about it, but I think there's legitimate usefulness for a lot of people.
What's the future of cash in America? Will we ever be like a cashless society?
I think that's a really good question. I think that a lot of people really like cash. It's still very large. I forget what the latest statistic was. I had it when we announced this product. I want to say it's like a huge amount of money, like tens, hundreds of billions, maybe even more, are transacted in cash on an annual basis. Now the percentage is going down, but is it going to go to zero? I mean, you probably, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I think AOL just shut down dial-up like a couple months ago.
I thought I saw that. I thought it's a parody. I saw something on X. Yeah.
Internet?
I thought
dial-up internet was one of the leading revenue streams for AOL up until like relatively recently, and I think they just shut it down. So
who the hell was still using dial-up?
I don't know. I thought it was a joke.
Mostly older people.
Wow.
Right? Like if you're in your 80s and maybe you don't really need you're used to it working a certain way. So will we have cash in 100 years? Probably not. I mean, I'd be surprised, but are we still going to have it in 25 years? I'd probably take the over.
Well, just real quick too, there's like, it pisses me off, these restaurants that are cashless. You can't even use cash at certain restaurants. I don't know if you've had that experience, but it's the biggest pain in the ass.
Kind of worse when it's cash only though.
Yeah, you get both.
Cash only is more
you're in
annoying.
New York, you still go to a lot of places that are cash only.
This is kind of off topic, but one of my favorite phases, I think it was during COVID, was like the Forex trading. Did you ever see that, where people would gather at like a house and they would raise money for Forex?
Forex, like currencies, trading currencies.
Do you have any knowledge on that?
I know what forex trading is.
People really came after it for being like the biggest scam. I was just curious if you have any opinion on it.
I don't think trading currencies is inherently like nefarious. A lot of people do it. A lot of institutions do it. I think the challenge comes in when you put in like a lot of leverage, and if you couple the leverage with, selling trading courses and other services to people that don't really understand it. So, there's a lot of people on the internet that are, promoting trading courses and strategies. And yeah, there's no shortage of unscrupulous characters for sure. As with anything, anytime you have a tool and the potential to make money, I think there's people that abuse it.
You guys are coming out with a cool feature, the Robinhood Social
Yeah.
feature, right? And what's that? I saw something. I don't know if it's out yet, but the whale watch.
Yeah.
Is that out yet? Like, or
it's coming out soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of like putting the finishing touches on it internally and testing it. So we have it internally, and the next step is to start rolling it out.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of our thinking for traders. For a long time, Robinhood was a tool. So you'd get the idea elsewhere, and then you just go on Robinhood to trade because it's low cost and easy to use. But I think we're increasingly going to move to all-in-one platform where you're not only trading, but you also get the idea for the trade, either from our AI tools like Cortex or our community.
Is Whale Watch, like we have a partner, Prize Picks, where you can go on the app and you can see like someone's picks for Sunday football.
Yeah.
So Whale Watch, is that like I can go on Robinhood and hypothetically see what Elon Musk is buying?
Yeah, or Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi.
That's what you got to watch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to start out with, politicians and the other investors that have to report their trades. But then also, if you're on the platform and you're trading and you choose to opt in, you could
So I can
share your
opt in
trades
my
that way.
portfolio.
You could opt in your portfolio, and
so I'll be following his, but I will not be following yours, because when I follow your Prize Picks,
oh, it's bad. Well, then,
there's the inverse Kramer, right? So sometimes someone that trades badly can be a good signal because you could just do the opposite. But yeah, and the other great thing about it is we're adding more assets. So we have stocks, we have crypto, we've got options and futures. Now we have prediction markets. I think one of the reasons that these things haven't worked particularly well in the past, talking about sort of financial business social networks, is the variety of content isn't super rich. But with prediction markets, now you have trades around pretty much anything. So I think that's going to be a great tool for social trading and social media.
Yeah, I think it'll do good there, but I do think there's a big void of portfolios. My friends will always ask me, like, what are you buying? Where are you looking? Like, instead of like texting them, like, oh, look at this specific, sector or this company. I would love for them to just follow me.
Yeah.
Without knowing the balance, just like, this is what I hold,
Yeah. And I think that's the great thing about it, and why Robinhood is uniquely positioned as a social media platform. It's because we have that signal of what are your actual trades. So people know that there's some verification, that you're not just bullshitting and putting random things out there.
Yeah.
How fair is it for like a beginner on Robinhood that's a college kid in his room, as opposed to like a billionaire getting access to like IPOs and stuff like that?
I think the most fair in the industry by a wide margin. In fact, one of the criticisms we get with IPOs are that, we hear from a lot of people, hey, I've got, $5 million or more in my Robinhood account, and I got one share of this IPO, right? And I think there's a balance. If anything, the feedback that we're getting is we've gone too far the other way, and that we actually don't value or really prioritize customers that have been with us and grown with us. And we've shifted a little bit. I mean, we've heard that feedback, and it's like, if someone started with us when they were 20 and now they have a big portfolio, now they use us for a lot of stuff, they probably should be getting a higher tier of support. And so we launched programs like Robinhood Concierge. Obviously, we've got Robinhood Gold.
I think I'm still on the waiting list for that one.
For Robinhood Concierge?
No, for gold.
Oh, you're for the gold card, you mean?
Yeah, for the gold card. Been on my waiting list for a while.
We can hook you up with that.
That's why I came here.
Card's been very popular. Yeah, we've been rolling it out aggressively. I think we announced recently crossing 500,000 card holders.
Oh, really?
So wow. The problem is more and more people keep joining the list. We can't roll out fast enough.
I've been looking at this for a while, Vlad. I'm still.
How many employees does Robinhood have?
It's between 3,000 and 4,000.
Wow. So what have you learned as you've scaled on like the best attributes as a leader?
I think a lot of the conventional wisdom about leadership that you read about is kind of wrong. I think you really have to look at that stuff from first principles. Because there's a lot of things that are safe to talk about publicly, like being nice and sort of like being employee friendly, and not enough is spoken about like having really high standards. I think this is changing a little bit. I think recently the environment is shifting to where more and more people are talking about this stuff. But achieving really hard things is not easy on people. It's tough. It requires long hours. It requires like a lot of attention to detail. So yeah, I don't think Robinhood is like a great place to optimize for work-life balance by any means. It's a place where people come to work intensely and they want to have a lot of impact, and they want to do in 1 year what would take a normal company 10 to 20 years.
How far out are we from like AI dropping like tips on when to buy or sell?
You can do it right now. You can ask Grok for a stock tip. It'll give you a stock tip. Now, whether it's trustworthy and whether it'll make you any money, that's another question. There was a study done, I think it was last year, benchmarking performance of AI models in picking stocks, and it was funny. They underperformed because they missed the AI boom. Yeah, I think it's a tricky thing. I mean, if everyone's using AI to buy the same stocks, will those stocks outperform in the long term? I think unquestionably people are using it across the entire life cycle, idea generation, and then, some enterprising folks are automating things and building these bespoke strategies.
Robin also has that feature of when I'm looking at a specific stock that I hold, it says others have also purchased similar stocks.
Yeah.
And these are like similar stocks to what you're holding here, which is pretty much very similar to the answer I get from Grok as well. I'll tell Grok, hey, I'm holding this company. What are some other companies that I should be looking at similar? Then I'll go into Robinhood, and Robinhood's recommending me those similar.
Yeah, that one people also bought.
Yeah, that's what it is. People also bought, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we can look at with our system overlap between holding of different stocks, and we can just surface that information.
That's a great place to look at like other stocks you want to get, or if you're looking at let's just say, for example, Tesla, like people who hold Tesla. What else are they buying as well? And I'm assuming it's real data, right?
It's real data. Yeah, one of the things we work really hard to do is we don't want to, outside of like certain circumscribed areas, we don't want to make recommendations or push customers in a certain direction, but we want to give them all the information that they're looking for to make the decisions. So we have some areas where we do make recommendations, like first trade or, upon request. And then Robinhood Strategies is obviously a fiduciary advisory product. And then we also acquired an advisory platform, Trade PMR, where you could get a human advisor to help you with your finances.
That's cool.
But yeah, by and large, the core of the offering is self-directed, meaning you should just use it to get information, but the trading decision has to come from the user.
One of my favorite phases was Roaring Kitty with GameStop.
Yeah.
And I know that Robinhood faced a little bit of backlash for not being able to buy GameStop at a time. Is that accurate?
That's right. Yeah. For one day, you couldn't buy GameStop.
And what did that do to the Robinhood brand overall?
I think it hurt it quite a bit. I mean, to some degree, we're still sort of recovering from that. Or I should say, it was probably not until 2025 that you could say, fully recovered from that hit. And that was a tough moment for me. You know, that was 5 years ago. So I know now I look like a confident, executive that's on top of everything. Back then, I was kind of a kid, and it's sort of like I'd been in the lab working on this software, not really talking to the media or anything like
you weren't
that.
public facing until after.
And suddenly it's like, oh, you got to go on CNBC, you got to go to testify in front of Congress. And
Damn.
I mean, I think if I had to do that now, it would probably have been much better handled, because I think the core of the GameStop issue, like if you look at what actually happened, it was like risk management, us complying with regulations. Our hand was forced, essentially. And I think our competitors basically had to do the same thing, but they kind of did a better job of explaining it. Plus, they were just much smaller, so we were the brunt of all of the anger, even though it affected pretty much everyone in the industry.
Yeah.
What I like about you though, Vlad, is during that moment, because I remember, and I even remembering you go on X or Twitter at the time, going on TV, and like there was two things. It could have either been the end of Robinhood, or you keep winning. And like, and I always tell everybody, like either content creator friends, founders, and I always even talk to Ron about this, is like he won. Like if you just keep winning, because the whole GameStop situation, which I don't think we need to talk about much longer because it's 5 years ago, but I forgot about it till like last night. Like we were talking about topics, and I even went to Grok. I was like, hey, what are tough questions we could ask Vlad? And the first thing that came up was GameStop. I'm like, GameStop? That was so long ago. But like people forget. If you keep winning, people will forget. And and that's what you did with Robinhood. And I'm not here to gas you up. I say this behind your back all the time with Ron, is, if you just keep winning, people, and learn from mistakes, of course, don't ignore the mistakes, but learn from the mistakes, fix them, but just keep winning. And I think that's where Robinhood's at right now.
To some degree, it's almost, it's good in a way that it came up with that, because it just means we haven't had any big controversies, knock on wood, where's this wood, in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. And we've had
that's
some
the best
times.
Grok could come up with, is asking about GameStop 5 years ago. And like, God bless you.
Well, it was a big moment too. Like I remember when it went down.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, I'm not throwing shade at you. I'm just saying it was like, like a lot of people saying, why are you still on Robinhood when that happened? So.
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, it was a big brand hit, to your point. I think that what happened was there was the very sort of sexy false narrative of hedge fund collusion. Like, oh, Robinhood was colluding with all these guys. And there was a rumor, I don't know if you guys remember this, that the White House called me and asked me to shut down trading of GameStop. Now, this thing went nuts on social media. There's a Reddit post about,
so long
Joe
ago,
Biden and the White House made a call to Vlad Tenev.
Yeah. Some
fake engineer had posted it saying, I overheard the conversation. The White House was on the horn.
Great source.
And Sequoia Capital, one of our investors, had to publish a statement publicly saying that they weren't involved in this White House Robinhood thing. So, the juicy narrative that's like simple and sort of like nefarious. People love conspiracy theories. So that took hold. And I think we didn't do a good job of like quelling it.
Yeah.
So you ask a random person on the street, they're like, oh, well, GameStop, wasn't that just like the hedge funds and Robinhood?
Yeah.
But no matter how much we do or what we say, people have that thought.
Yeah.
And it's hard to dispel the false rumor.
It was 5 years ago and you still got to hear about it.
Well, thanks to you.
Yeah, well, admittedly, it's a a bit less
Some
and
shit
less.
just sticks, right?
I forgot all about that.
What are you doing now with like cryptos becoming so popular? MoonPay does a great job. Like that's the platform I use. And what are you doing to compete with like the MoonPays of the world?
Well, so MoonPay, their number one business is a fiat on and off ramp, right? So if you want to get dollars into native crypto, into like a wallet, MoonPay is almost like an infrastructure provider. And we have a product that is competitive, maybe a little bit less known, but it's called Robinhood Connect. We partner with some of the biggest wallets. We use it obviously for ourselves, and significantly cheaper on average. And I'd say crypto and Robinhood evolving in a couple of different ways, and it's a big business. Like if you look at us by market share for retail crypto, we're kind of like top two, but pretty close to number one in the US. And we're expanding outward. The thing that I care most about is actually using crypto technology to power real things. So tokenization of real world assets, we call it. Can we take a real asset like a stock or a private company, which is the thing I'm most excited about, and put it on crypto technology where it benefits from 24/7 trading, global liquidity, and just like integration with the existing large crypto customer
You're doing that
base.
a little bit in Europe right now, right?
Yeah, we've tokenized about 2,000 public stocks in Europe. We also piloted private stock tokens. So we were the first to tokenize OpenAI and SpaceX shares, and we gave them out to European customers in the form of a giveaway, which worked incredibly well. So we've got the technology to tokenize private companies and make them tradable 24/7, just like stocks. The obstacle is really regulatory clarity.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when's that coming to the US? But
We're working on
working
it.
on it?
Yeah, with the US, there's two barriers actually, and in Europe, there's less. Incidentally, in the US, you have to solve private company accreditation laws that make it so that right now you have to be an accredited investor, basically a high net worth individual, to invest in private companies. And there's also tokenization of securities, which falls into crypto market structure, which right now you're not allowed to actually tokenize securities in the US and make them available to retail, which is actually why you have so many meme coins. It's sort of, connecting real stuff to crypto technology is illegal, and that's why the lion's share of the market in the US is just things that aren't backed by real value on crypto technology.
All right, guys, I want to interrupt the pod really quick to tell you guys about MoonPay. Whenever I'm doing anything in the crypto space, if I'm buying crypto, if I'm selling crypto, I am using the MoonPay app. What I love about the MoonPay app is they have every form of payment on the planet. If you guys are new to crypto too, you can own a piece of a Bitcoin for as little as $20 and you can get it in seconds. Also, MoonPay's been around now for 6 years, so they're forming some crazy partnerships in the space. One of their partnerships is with Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet is one of the most popular self-custody wallets in the world. With Trust Wallet, you control your crypto fully, no compromises, and thanks to MoonPay, you can fund your wallet instantly using your favorite payment methods. It's the fastest way to go from cash to crypto, all while keeping full control of your assets. Also, every Monday, we do MoonPay Mondays on our Nelk Boys Instagram where we give away 1,000 in Bitcoin. All you gotta do is just DM us your MoonPay wallet address. We post proof that we send 1,000 every single Monday. So if you're looking to get into crypto or you want a shot at winning 1,000 in Bitcoin every Monday, just download the MoonPay app. Do your own research, obviously, and shout out to MoonPay, the best crypto app in the game. Let's get back on the pod.
You don't have to say which one, but have you like fired on a meme coin?
I have some meme coin exposure. Yeah. I mean, I won't recommend my favorite one because anytime I do that, I get a little bit of I get a little bit of grief from pretty much the fans of all the other coins. Yeah. I love all of my meme children equally.
What makes you like want to get a meme coin?
If I really believe in the community behind it, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, I think a lot of people are flippant about meme coins and they're like, what's the point of this? But I think if you actually look at what's happening here, you have someone with the ability and the power to create an asset that trades 24/7 globally, gets billions of dollars of liquidity in 5 minutes or less. It's a huge capital markets innovation. I mean, compare that to what it looks like to IPO a company. You have to spend a year and tens of millions of dollars and work with like teams of lawyers. And by the way, it's still only available in the US on a limited set of exchanges, you know, primarily during East Coast working hours. So I think like if we combine these two things, it becomes really interesting. And that's where I think Robinhood's focus is on crypto. It's not actually the pure crypto technology. It's the intersection. How can we apply crypto technology to trading and holding assets that have fundamental utility that people really care about?
Is that the future of stocks, tokenization?
It's the future of private markets for sure. I think from the standpoint of a normal consumer, they're not going to be aware that their stocks are tokenized. I mean, they'll just see that, you know.
It's just available.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it right now, Robinhood has a pretty good experience for trading stocks. Of course, one of the benefits of tokenization is another GameStop cannot happen. But of course, nobody is sitting there worrying about another GameStop until it happens, right? But yeah, you'll have instant settlement, which is one of the technical reasons why the whole GameStop fiasco occurred. So there's certainly benefits, but I think if you ask what can I not do now that will be made possible by tokenization, you'll be able to tokenize a private company, you'll be able to tokenize a Picasso or a work of art. So it's these like assets that aren't liquid right now that are really hard to trade. You can plug them into an existing infrastructure that instantly makes them tradable 24/7 and liquid.
This is kind of off topic, but something that's so hot right now, and I just see it every day, and I'll use Logan Paul as a specific example.
Yeah.
But you've seen like his Pokemon card that's worth $5 million.
I have seen that, yeah.
Do you do any sort of like the card investment? Because it's like really hot right now.
Me personally, I'm not a Pokemon card collector, but there is a class of investments which are sort of like investments that also have utility. So it's not just sitting there custodied in an account somewhere, but you know, you're also wearing it. It's like a piece of jewelry, or you know, you have it in your house like a piece of art. Even real estate maybe is in that category. So there's definitely like investments that you want to see in a spreadsheet and you want to watch the value go up and down. There's certain investments that are like collectible or have utility that you also want to use. So we're definitely thinking about that, and the goal would be for Robinhood to give you the ability to invest in everything, and not just invest in everything, but anything that relates to money moving in and out or being held in your account. Robinhood should help you with, whether we're holding it for you or you're doing it yourself. And you should expect tokenization. I mean, all of those assets are in scope. Collectibles, which you can think of as I mean, NFTs, one of the original crypto use cases was digital collectibles. So tokenization can help you digitize real world collectibles as well.
I do think a card to look at though, Michael Jordan, PSA 10 rookie. That
You
thing,
have one?
I don't have one, but there's only like 300 and something of them. And a year ago, they were worth 250 grand each. The least expensive one right now you could find is 600 grand. There's only
That's
like
so
300
crazy.
of them. I think there's like a whole economy around Michael Jordan. I say Michael Jordan, there's a lot of athletes, but like Michael Jordan's just always going to be a
I think
legend.
Dana has one. Remember when he showed his
Yeah,
case?
Yeah, he has a lot. I have a Charizard, but it's like PSA -1. It's like it's so bent
I had a
up.
Lou Gehrig rookie card.
No way.
I swear.
You did or your dad
I did. That shit's gone.
Any Beanie Babies?
Oh yeah.
Beanie?
Are those up in value too?
I mean, I think so.
I
Yeah.
saw something about
I got
someone asked
hella
me
Beanie
like
Babies.
if I'm into Beanie Babies. I just don't know enough about it. I just think Michael Jordan will always and forever be a living icon. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd agree with you.
but not a living icon, just a legend.
For a while, I got into collecting signed books, like signed first editions.
What do you got?
I've got some good science fiction. I've got some signed Asimov's, Heinlein. Are you guys science fiction fans?
No.
Asimov's Foundation. It's legendary books. So
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes one interesting thing If you had to guess what percentage of books sold in the US are digital, like Kindle version versus physical, what would your guess be?
What percent are digital?
Yeah, what do you think it is? Do you think
that's-
most are digital or
No, I
I
think
think
it's physical still.
I feel like it's got to be digital.
I think physical
I think
still.
most people would say it's like digital just ate into the market, but
I don't-
north of 80% are still physical.
I believe that.
Because if you're going to read a book, if you're into reading, you want a physical book that you can.
And most
read
people that buy books don't actually read them. It's like a gift. It's something to put on
Yeah,
your bookshelf.
I've done that.
It's like a piece of
Yeah,
art,
like
something you want to
90%
hold.
of my books are that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a huge bookshelf, and people come over like, "Did you read all that?" I was like, "No,
Yeah.
I don't even know how I got
Yeah,
it."
so like digital book sales grew fast initially, but then it kind of plateaued at I think something under 20% of total book sales.
What else are you working on? Like any AI companies you're going to start up?
Harmonic. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Good pivot,
so
but we should talk about Harmonic. I mean, it's pretty fascinating.
yeah, a couple of years ago, I started a company called Harmonic where I'm exec chairman of. So I don't have an operating role, but I'm still very involved. And Harmonic's goal is to build mathematical superintelligence. And what we mean by that is AI that can reason mathematically and where you can verify 100% of the reasoning. So no hallucinations. And the first area where we sort of like pointed Harmonic at is, well, the end goal is to actually solve really big, important problems in math and science, research level big problems. But where we've started was math competitions. So there's this high school competition called the International Math Olympiad. You're nodding. Maybe are you a former mathlete?
Hell no.
Grade 4, I ran times tables.
Okay.
But
Well,
after
yeah.
that, when it came to
In-
high school, when it came to like calculus and shit,
Yeah. So
times tables days, I was popping.
yeah. So around grade 6, there's this thing called math counts, which is sort of like the beginning of it. Then you go into the math competition circuit.
Mhm.
So you can think of it as like Olympic qualifiers. So there's the AMC, there's the AMI, the American Invitational Math Exploration. If you do well on that, you go to the USAMO, the USA Math Olympiad.
Wow.
So I tapped out at the AMI. That was like my rung of that was
Dang.
my ceiling. And then if you do really well on the USA Math Olympiad, they take like the best 5 people and they represent the US at the International Math Olympiad, the
Wow.
IMO. So this year, Aristotle, which is Harmonic's math model, got a gold medal on the IMO. So there's 6 questions. They're ridiculously hard. Our model got 5 out of 6 of them correct. And then we were like, okay, we don't want to just keep this as a research result. Let's open it up. Let's actually release it to the public and see what people do with it. And people have done some incredible things. There's these unsolved math problems, research level, called Erdős problems. Have you guys heard of Erdős? So he was like the world's most prolific mathematician. He would travel around the world and basically stay at his friends' places for a couple of weeks, and his friends were all mathematicians, and he would work on their math problems with them. So he was kind of like a traveling mathematician. He was so prolific that there's a thing called an Erdős number, which is basically your Erdős number is 0 if you've, well, Paul Erdős's Erdős number is 0. If you've co-authored a paper with him, it's 1. If you've co-authored a paper with someone that's co-authored a paper with Paul Erdős, it's 2, and so on. So it's kind of like the Kevin Bacon number.
Okay.
How many degrees away from Kevin Bacon? If you're in a movie with him, your Bacon number is 1. Funny enough, there's also a thing called an Erdős-Bacon number, where you add the 2. And there is someone with an Erdős-Bacon number of 3.
Wow.
So they co-authored a paper with Paul Erdős, and they were in Good Will Hunting. So they were like 2 degrees away from Kevin Bacon. Anyway, over history, there were about 1,100 Erdish problems that were collected from his travels. And, there's a guy that made a website collecting them and everything. About half of them are solved already, half of them are unsolved. And Aristotle, our model, either solved or assisted in the solving and verifying of something like 11 of them. So it's like, it's crazy. And, I would have guessed it would have taken maybe a year after us getting the IMO gold medal to make these types of contributions, but it took 2 months. So we're now at the point where like new knowledge is being created by AI, and it's not just pulling things and putting them together.
Dude, can we go
That's
to
so
Vegas and
crazy.
play blackjack after this?
I would love to.
I feel
Yeah.
like you've spent some time playing blackjack.
I have played a little bit of blackjack. I don't think
We
I don't think I'm particularly
topic
good.
of Aristotle. We got to keep.
Well, he's a good
Yeah.
math guy.
what was going through my mind was I don't think we can use Aristotle to play blackjack.
I don't know if you ever heard this. You remind me of the guy from 21. The guy that went to MIT.
I have seen that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie's sick. I
Yeah.
love that movie.
Yo, Vlad, do you have the gold card on you?
Taylor
Did
does.
you guys see the Robinhood gold card?
No.
It's actual real gold.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on gold in general? Gold and silver through the roof these days.
Yeah.
What do you?
That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Robinhood pushes buying gold, don't they?
We do have, to your point about sometimes you have an investment that you want to hold in your hand. Physical gold you can get through Robinhood, and it's been incredibly popular.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
that's
the
not the
thing.
Let me
waiting
see
list
that.
I'm on.
That's the
No.
VIP banking client
Let me see that.
for Robinhood.
Heavy.
And how do I get in on that?
Ask Mr. Tenev.
We can help you. Yeah.
This is a huge flex.
How much gold is this?
I think that's 37 grams.
So what happens if I lose this and I got to replace it?
You'll get,
The card's worth 7K?
Yeah, 7
All right.
solid gold.
How do we get
See,
one
that's
of
why I
these?
can't have this because I'll lose this. What if you leave this at a bar?
if you lose it,
This is Taylor.
you can't spend any more money.
But you got so is it 7K
No,
to
just
replace
kidding.
it?
Yeah, you can replace it with a solid gold one. You can also get
That's Vlad's.
a less expensive but still very nice metallic
Yeah,
gold
that thing's heavy.
basic variant. And there's also a 24 karat gold variant that's sort of halfway in between.
Yeah,
What happens when you
this-
pull this out at a date to pay?
This is actually 10 carats.
That probably works like a charm.
It goes well.
Yeah.
The one disappointing thing is that people pay for so much with Apple Pay and digital
Yeah.
that you have less occasion to actually take your
Pull it
card out.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, at restaurants, people love it. And, whenever feasible, I prefer to pay the old fashioned way rather than just
What kind of perks do you get as opposed to like an Amex?
one big one.
Yeah.
3% cash back on all categories.
That's huge.
Yeah, best cash back of any card.
I'm in.
And you can use your rewards to buy physical gold. So gold bars.
Yeah, that's a big thing
worthwhile.
right now. Physical gold and silver, copper.
And silver has been having a
Silver's
moment
on
as
it.
of late for sure.
Yeah. Can't
Yeah.
identify why, but
I think multiple factors. There's like geopolitical supply constraints and shocks. There's like the data center build out, which uses a lot of these precious metals.
I think
Yeah.
that's why copper's up.
But I think silver is used in data centers, if I'm not mistaken, too. And then you also have just like inflation fears. So
So it's
a
a combination.
perfect storm.
Combination.
Yeah, probably mostly geopolitical though.
Friend of mine told me once, crypto's great because it's made by the people. Dollar's not great because it's made by government. Gold is great because it's made by God.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
always like stuck with me.
You got that written above your bed or some shit.
No, I just heard it like 2 days ago, actually.
Yeah. Well, some people think crypto was made by God too.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Nobody
but-
knows who made it. Right?
Yeah, true. Bitcoin.
What the,
Yeah.
It's the guy that no one can find him. What's his name?
Well, that's what,
Satoshi.
that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Can we go find that guy? Do you think he exists or no?
I don't know. I mean, how would I know? Yeah, I don't know what.
Is there
happened
no
there.
one knows how crypto started?
No one knows.
No one knows. Well, if he doesn't know, then
Isn't it just the worst?
This
when
guy was on message boards in the late 2000s talking about Bitcoin, and he just put it out there, and then eventually he just disappeared, stopped
Yeah.
posting on the message boards.
the internet,
Relatively early. I think his last message was 2010, maybe 2011.
the internet loves to show those poor guys that like forgot their code or lost their ledger that has like 50 million on it, and they've been searching for it.
Yeah.
Like the guy that paid. What was the pizza dude? Didn't he?
Oh yeah, that's the worst story. My
He
heart
paid
hurts
for
for that
pizza
guy.
with like 5 Bitcoins or something.
No, way more than that. Like
10,000.
10,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bro, 10,000 Bitcoin.
10. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. I feel so bad for that guy.
When did you first buy Bitcoin?
So back in 2011, I became interested in mining it. So I started mining some Bitcoin. But back then, of course, it was less sophisticated. So there weren't mining pools, and you had to get lucky and get 50 Bitcoin by just solving a block. I don't know if you guys looked into detail how it works, but
Yeah.
it was hard to get. So I was like, all right, let's run it, see what happens. Never mined anything, never got any Bitcoin. And I was about to like sign up for one of these websites, these kind of early sketchy websites that sold Bitcoin. There was one called Mount Gox. I don't know if you guys remember. This thing actually started as a Magic the Gathering trading card exchange.
Wow.
People would trade their Magic the Gathering card. That's why it's Mount Gox MTG, right? But it was the biggest Bitcoin exchange of like the first era. And I signed up. I was about to put money in, buy Bitcoin in 2011. It was like $2 a coin. And then before I did it, Mt. Gox got hacked. And the price of Bitcoin went down by 70%. And I remember I was like, whew, dodged a bullet. I was just about to buy this stuff. It's dead. So I didn't buy it. And now I'm kicking myself.
Oh, we all have those
So-
stories.
Yeah, I have a little bit of Bitcoin, not much relative to my overall net worth. But I have a little bit, of course. But yeah, not as much as some of the early true believers. That's for sure.
I don't think anyone's story is going to be worse than the pizza guy, though.
No. Well, now
That thing pops up in my X feed like
All
once
the
a
time.
month.
You don't think the
and
pizza guy had other Bitcoin? You think he
if
just
I were him,
spent
I would
it
just
all
come
on the
out, be
pizza?
like, "Hey, listen, I had
He's like, I'm done.
200,000. Like, I had 200,000. Jokes on you guys."
I don't know.
They
I
might
think-
have been really
They never
broke
talk
and just
about-
really craving pizza.
they never talk about the guy that accepted that. That was the biggest,
I don't know if-
the best transaction ever.
If you had 100,000 Bitcoin, would you be out there talking about it? I mean, most people probably wouldn't.
Well, if a
No.
meme's made out of me and like
Yes.
the world feels bad for me, like every time it comes up, maybe I don't know, or maybe jokes on us.
He probably wants the world to feel bad for him.
yeah.
Maybe
Think
people
I'm
are giving
poor.
him more
Yeah, don't
Bitcoin.
rob me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vlad has a meme about him.
Which one?
The boy from Bulgaria.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
It was another GameStop thing where it was from my congressional testimony, which is actually a little bit of a strange thing happened. So the whole testimony was virtual. It was on Zoom. I really wanted to do it in person, but it was in the middle of COVID. So one of the so as part of a congressional testimony, every witness I think you call it a witness. I was a witness, has to give a opening address. And as part of my opening address, I talk about my Bulgarian. I was born there and I immigrated and whatnot. And for the first time, I think in history, my opening address was interrupted by a congressperson. And I'm not exactly sure why. I think it was some technical glitch, but yeah, they turned it into a meme where they sort of made it look like I was dodging a question by talking about my Bulgarian humble beginnings.
When'd you come out here?
1992.
92.
Yeah, I was 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right after the fall of communism in
So you
Eastern
guys
Europe.
escaped that.
Yeah.
Citizen now.
Yeah.
You have a relationship with the current administration, like Trump?
Yeah, up until
I don't know why immigration made me think of that, but
Yeah.
yeah. But we always got to talk about the president.
I've been to the White House a handful of times in the past year, which was very fun. Mostly around 2 areas. One is crypto, and the other is Invest America Initiative, or Trump Accounts,
Yeah.
which is the $1,000 for an investment account for every newborn initiative, which is very cool. Like right in line with our mission to make everyone an investor.
Will Robinhood being integrated into that?
The details of that haven't been shared yet. But what I can tell you is we've had a bunch of conversations, and what I've told the president, we've told the administration repeatedly is we love the initiative. Like we think that
It's so underrated. Like no one talks about
I mean, also if you think about all the things that we do as part of just like running a country, we're racking up debt. Who pays for the debt, right? Future generations. So a lot of the things that we do as a society is sort of optimizing for our own self-interest at the expense of the future generations. And I think there's relatively few things that flip that. It's like, oh no, we're going to take our money, put them away so that future generations can benefit more. So the fact that it's like one of the few sacrifices of its kind, I think, is what makes it really special. So yeah, we want to make it really big, and I think there's things like this that have been tried, but they haven't had like the full weight of industry and the best technology companies behind them, and this one feels a little bit different.
Yeah, holy.
You got Michael Dell and Brad Gerstner and a bunch of people just actually deploying a lot of resources and their own money behind the initiative. So I think it's got a good chance of really moving the needle.
You guys are based in California still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on all these big companies moving out of California? Ever crossed your mind at all?
It's crossed our mind for sure. And obviously there's the whole billionaire tax. Yeah, I mean, I'm not intending to move out of California because I love California, right? I love what it represents. I think it's a great state. But I think it's becoming an increasingly more difficult place to do business, right? Yeah, and I think that there's a big risk of like the fable of the goose that laid the golden egg.
Yeah.
You learn about it in school. Yeah, it's kind of like what's going on here, right? Like California, Silicon Valley, a lot of founders, a lot of entrepreneurship. It's a big part of the economy. And yeah, I think if we're not careful, you don't want to lose that. I think that's like a big part of what makes California great. So I'd like to see, and I'm obviously intending to stay and push for this, California to actually become the best place to do business in the country. I don't think that it should be it should get complacent.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's a real risk of complacency, and the weather's great for sure, but like why not be great across the board?
Yeah,
and actually like recognize that what we have is good and lean into that. And also, we've got to figure out how to get the fiscal health better. That's for sure. The fiscal health is not good. And I think it's a structural problem. I don't think one-time taxes will fix the problem. I think that the problem is on a structural level. And for sure, there's like a big effort to root out and weed out fraud and abuse and like mishandling of taxpayer funds. The fact that we pay so much in taxes in the schools and the infrastructure are sort of like mediocre at best.
That'll be exposed. Our boy Nick Shirley is going after California next. So
I think there's a lot of problems for sure, but yeah, I'd rather stay and fix them. And I feel much prouder about doing that.
Yeah. I feel the same, by the way. I still live out here. So everyone heard you're leaving.
No, changed my mind.
Today?
Yesterday when I got back here.
Okay.
Yeah. Where were you going to go?
Miami.
Yeah. A lot of people have been going there.
That's where I live.
That's where he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was born and raised out here. So, someone told me outside of taxes, which I do have some thoughts on that billionaire tax. I think the billionaire tax is not really a billionaire tax. I think they'll eventually go after middle class and everybody. I think it's just disguised as a billionaire class tax to get people to vote for it. But
also I think it's really dangerous marketing in a way. I can see how it's effective because when people think of billionaires, And I recognize.
You villainize them. I mean,
Well, you know, I'm a billionaire, but I wasn't born a billionaire,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I grew up poor, and I created businesses that created value and hired lots of people. But I think most people's perception of a billionaire is someone that got their money unfairly, like through
Very true.
inheriting it from generations and generations. I think in California, it's particularly stark because most billionaires are founders. It's people that have created jobs and created businesses and industries. And you have AI and chips and software all epicentered here. So really, it's a founder tax, right? And then you ask, well, do we need to be disincentivizing founding companies? Most people will probably tell you, okay, I don't like billionaires, but entrepreneurship and creation of companies and industries is very, very valuable. So I think it needs a bit of a reframe, and people actually need to understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, agreed.
I see like Billie Eilish talking a lot about that. It's
Yeah.
so annoying. It's like, fuck off.
No, yeah. The acceptance speeches at the award shows, you always are going to get something about
War
that.
shows are scams.
Yeah.
Golden Globes, and mentioned one thing about Iran the other night. Like that's crazy. Like because it's not the trendy thing.
There's been a lot of talk about the entertainment industry and how, you know, Hollywood and California has become the center of that. But over the past 10 years or so, more and more people are leaving to do like the entertainment business elsewhere.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's filming in Canada or Atlanta,
Yeah.
now increasingly overseas.
A lot of people are filming in Canada for tax reasons. Is that right?
I mean, tax maybe is one of it, but I think
It's just
regulation,
cost.
like cost and
cost is way
regulation,
cheaper.
like there's so many rules and like unions and all that stuff in California. California just doesn't make it easy for anybody to stay in California, and that's why entertainment's leaving here.
Entertainment's leaving, and then if you lose entertainment and tech, what happens? Is that the California
That's
that
the
we
problem
want?
with Los Angeles right now. Los Angeles is dead because Los Angeles was really built on like, you know, nightlife and, you know, going out and, you know, all these different cool up and coming aspiring actors and actresses and musicians being out in the town. And that's what Sunset Boulevard was. But now it's like, you don't nearly live in California or in Los Angeles. No, nor do you want to because of the crime, and it's kind of lost its soul for that reason. Because now they're scattered. They're in Miami, they're in Austin, they're in New York, they're in Nashville.
Find a big movie or TV show that's filmed here, right? I think you'll have a hard time.
Yeah, and that's now like, you know, we call it the Yellowstone effect, where it's like, all right, well, they're going to go in other states and they're going to film more Western style, Southern country style shows, and now you see the growth of like all the different Taylor Sheridan franchises because they're filmed in Montana, Fort Worth, Texas, Tennessee, and now that's the new genre of shows is more of those Western ones that, you know,
they're filmed on location.
Yeah. So, and that's why, you know, it's the Yellowstone effect. But, Vlad, the other thing I want to ask you, just always out of curiosity, I usually ask my buddies this off camera. What is your AI chat bot of choice? Like when you AI something, when you go to chat, do you like Grok, Gemini, GPT?
It used to be ChatGPT pretty much exclusively, though now I've been finding myself using Gemini more and more. For a long time, I was resisting it, but then you keep hearing, well, you know, Gemini's gotten quite good, and they've done a nice job. I mean, Google has really, they were kind of left for dead a couple of years ago with the whole AI stuff, but Gemini is quite good. And then what's really impressed me more recently is Claude Code.
Yeah,
you guys ever tried Claude Code? Yeah, so
they had a crazy update this week.
Yeah, the Claude Code for not code.
Yeah.
The amazing thing about Claude Code is like you can write custom software to do tasks for you that ChatGPT cannot do. So for example, you could say, you know, write a script to log into my bank account, log into my email, pull all the transactions, put it in a table. And, you know, it used to be that a year ago that would just break and it would be frustrating because you'd be, you know, chatting back and forth with it and you'd spend more time trying to get it to work than you would to write it yourself. But I think it's recently gotten to the point where it's legitimately useful and time saving. So I think that surprised me.
What are some jobs AI will take over that you think people aren't expecting?
I can give you what job I think will be safe. I think you guys are okay. I think podcast bros. No, it's so funny. I gave a TED talk on this. For sure, there will be AI job disruption, right? Like, I wouldn't study to be a telemarketer right now.
I told my lawyer to his face yesterday I was so pissed that I can't wait till AI takes your job. I cannot wait.
Well, there is one thing too
So
that
pissed.
the only area you're wrong is there's this guy that spent like $70,000 on this girl's OnlyFans, and she was AI the whole time.
Oh
and he
yeah,
got exposed for it, and he's going through it right now.
I met a guy in the sauna that does that the other day.
For an
at the
AI
gym.
girl,
He makes AI girls and runs their OnlyFans.
it's crazy.
And people have no idea they're AI.
The
yeah.
type of guys these guys meet.
You never know what you're going to talk about in the sauna at the gym.
It is kind of a crazy thing to think about, though.
Yeah, but I think there will be an explosion of new jobs and job families in the future, and if we were to see them, we would think they're not real work. Much like if you think about our ancestors 100 years ago, and if they were to look at what we're doing now, it'd be like, that's not a job. Nobody could possibly be getting paid for doing what they're doing. They're just sitting around chatting about stuff, right? It would look like not real work. I think in the same way, there's going to be jobs in the future that don't look like real work to us today. And I think what they'll look like is, from a practical standpoint, it'll be a lot more entrepreneurship, a lot more single person companies. You'll probably start seeing single person unicorns like very soon. I don't think we're very far away from that.
I agree.
So there will be more wealth created, but and I saw this, I've seen this with Harmonic as well. I think there's kind of two worlds, right? One world is the AI companies who own all these big data centers and all these GPUs and build the models are going to be like creating all the products and benefiting from the products in like a first party way, right? So they'll centralize and control all the value. The other world is they'll actually give AI tools to everyone, and those people will create products that capture value. And so in that world, it's much more distributed and kind of decentralized. So I think what we're seeing now is it's more the latter. And I think the latter is more interesting. I think it's going to be a better business opportunity. So I think one thing nobody expected is we have such amazing AI tools on our phones, and it's cheaper than a cell phone plan, right? So yeah, I think even with Harmonic, like when we rolled out Aristotle to public, we saw people using crazy stuff with it. Not just the Erdos problems we were talking about earlier, but solving problems in computing, in linguistics, stuff that, if we managed centrally and we were doing ourselves, we wouldn't do as good of a job of. But if you open the tool to the public, people will do really amazing things. So that's the world that I believe in and that we're pushing to build. And I think if we end up in that world, which I believe and hope we will, it'll be an optimistic rather than dystopian future.
I'm optimistic about AI. I mean, obviously, every day I hear someone worried about AI taking our jobs, but I think AI is going to boost productivity. And I think if you're more productive at your job, you get paid more. And now, you pay, you get paid more, and then people realize like this is now the new standard. Let's hire more people like this that know how to use AI.
What about like AI replacing like education?
That's what I was going to say, because you said you want to be a teacher. Will ever be like just AI teachers that...
I mean, I don't know. Would you want your kid to be going to a place where an Optimus robot is like teaching them?
I have no idea. I wouldn't, but...
Well, I think there's ups and downs to that, because you have teachers teaching kids in classroom stuff that parents don't want them talking about.
I think the least safe is lawyers. I think the most safe are sports.
I disagree. I think lawyers are safe.
Oh yeah. Well, no, your dad is safe. Your dad's a litigator. No, I'm talking about the lawyer. Like, hey, can you look at this quick contract for me?
Yeah.
Get back to me 3 days later, charge me $1,500.
You could probably do that already, right?
Yeah, I just send it to
Redline
you.
this contract for me based
Well,
on
I do.
this.
I mean, yeah. But if I don't feel like reading it for you, like I'll just send it through Grok real quick and be like, "Hey, what should I? This is something my lawyer agreed on 2 years ago. Like, took a look at this and let me know what my lawyer would have said." That's what I do. That's what I do with Grok now.
I don't know. I would be surprised if sometimes these things are counterintuitive. My bet is there would be more lawyers 10 years from now and more software engineers. Back when I was a kid, my parents would tell me, "You don't want to be a software engineer. All those jobs are getting shipped off to China." So it'll
We
be
didn't hear
like
that. Yeah, China and India. We used to hear that.
profession.
Yeah, we used to hear that.
Back in 1996, the first AI victory over humans was Deep Blue, IBM's AI model, AI chess model, beating Gary Kasparov.
I remember that. Yeah.
Right. And so it was like the end of chess. It's never going to go back. But now the chess industry is bigger than ever. It's like 5x bigger, 3 times as many grandmasters. The grand prizes are bigger than ever. Turns out nobody wants to watch AIs playing chess, right?
Yeah,
They just want to, even though Magnus Carlsen would get destroyed by the best chess
machine.
AIs.
Yeah. Chess is in that category of sports. I think sports are completely safe. I think that's why you also see these big sport deals, whether NFL team, NBA team valuations through the roof. I think NFL teams, you'll see your first $10 billion NFL teams sold soon. The UFC doing a big deal with Paramount, $8 billion. I think that the networks know now, like, all right, this is the one thing that AI will never hurt. You can't AI a sport, or in the case of chess, which one could argue chess is a sport. I think those real life ones will never be disrupted by AI.
I mean, I agree with you. There's empirical evidence. Like, AIs are already better at it, but we're not watching them.
Yeah.
So unlikely that there's going to be some tipping point where, oh, well, if they're only this much better, then we'll start watching it. I think it's the human story that's the product there, right?
But I think you'll see like cartoon series. I mean, we've talked about it, like, maybe using Grok Imagine for like a cartoon series, or, like those could be AI. You could make next. I mean, Degenerates could be, you can make the next South Park or Family Guy, via AI. I think you could do stand-up comedy specials, maybe even through AI, but sports won't be able to AI.
What's your biggest worry with AI, if anything, if things are not handled correctly?
My biggest worry is that the people aren't behind it. So you actually compare AI with crypto, and whenever there's like some regulatory overreach or something that's like anti-crypto out there, either by the government or lawmakers, there's like a huge retail army of crypto fans that are fighting against it. And even you could argue this last election, the 2024 presidential election, crypto became a massive constituency that actually swung lots of districts and votes in favor of the Trump administration, which like openly embraced crypto much earlier than I think the Harris campaign tried some tepid efforts to reach out to crypto people, but they kind of felt flat and never looked genuine. So, and I think the reason crypto has this army is because from the very beginning, normal people could get access to crypto. You got the pizza guy, but it started out as a retail phenomenon. Whereas AI, you've got companies that are private that are still only accessible to like a relatively small circle of wealthy individuals that keep getting wealthier. Now these companies are worth hundreds of billions. And you do have Google. It's good that now Google's being competitive. So now that if you're a public market investor or retail shareholder, you can get access to it. But Google's a $3 billion company. All right. So it's not like you can get in early. 3 trillion. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Off by 3 orders of magnitude. It's a 3 trillion company. So it's not like you can get in early and actually ride that appreciation. So my biggest fear is that you have all this fear about job loss. And I think the best antidote is if you own this thing. It's like if you own the thing that's disrupting you, you're kind of rooting for it a little bit. But the only people that are rooting for AI are the investors, venture capitalists, and the like researchers that work there. And I think if that continues to be the case, it's going to be the biggest problem, because what's going to happen is there's going to be public pressure, if we don't do it right, is going to come out against AI, and then you get into like national security risk and all of those scenarios. So I believe in it, but I think where I can help and what I'm really focused on is making sure that normal people can invest in these companies.
Well, how would we as like regular people use Aristotle? Like, how would a regular consumer like the three of us use Aristotle?
I think in the first instance, it's a more specialized product. So it's very useful if you're a mathematician that's trying to do research in frontier math. But then it'll expand. And I think as it expands, the use cases will get broader. So beyond mathematicians, the next use case is creating software that's verified and correct. And the first places where that's going to be useful is in mission critical domains. So domains where if your software screws up, the consequences are really huge. So think chip design, right? If you screw up the design of a chip and you're fabbing it, that costs hundreds of millions or billions. And like if you could speed that up and increase the reliability, and you can verify that the design is good, you might be able to like 5x the speed of development there, which is big. You talk about automotive control systems for cars, financial services, and crypto. How many times do you hear about a blockchain vulnerability that leads to hundreds of millions of dollars being siphoned off of crypto protocols? So I think it'll start there in verifiable correctness in safety critical domains. But then we see a world where if the tools get good enough, the cost of provably correct AI code will approach the cost of just any code. They'll both go to zero. And so then all software will be verifiably correct. And then I think then it becomes much more broadly applicable.
So it's more of an enterprise. Would you say more of an enterprise?
At first,
business?
yeah, I think it's mostly enterprise, but I think there is a path where if we actually succeed in this, then you could have something like a Chat GPT or a Claude Code. And Aristotle now feels very much like Claude Code. You could have one where you're very, very highly confident that what it's telling you is right.
And it makes sense, because you have Robinhood as far as your consumer product, but you've been so great at understanding what an average person, what their behaviors are.
Yeah.
That, that's why I was actually eager to see if like, all right, well, I ever use Vlad's AI service.
Well, you can give it a try.
Yeah. It seems like it's a little bit
one of the amazing things that we've been seeing from Aristotle is amateur mathematicians. So if you're a mathematician, or if you like start thinking about a math problem and start solving it, it's very difficult for a non-insider to do that for a couple of reasons. One is it requires a lot of specialized knowledge. And it's very like tough to get that unless you're in the math community. The other thing is, let's say you come up with something, you figure something out, who's going to read it? You have to convince someone to like read your paper, and you'll probably get dismissed as a crank, right?
Yeah.
Because who's this guy? He's not even affiliated with the university, and he thinks he figured something out. But with AI tools like Aristotle, you have these like citizen mathematicians, which is someone that maybe is a software engineer or retiree. They like math. They're starting to figure stuff out. And now they don't have to convince a mathematician to like verify and check their paper. The system will do it by itself. So I think what you'll see is a lot more people doing math, and also downstream of that, like you'll see normal people using AI to make scientific discoveries, which I don't think anyone's expecting, but I think you'll start to see that in the next 6 to 12 months.
Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, and you'll have a normal person. And the thing is, math is like the first step. everything depends on math. Physics is dependent on math. I mean, modern physics is just math that's applied in a way. And then if you want to think about like contraptions and gadgets, that's all downstream of physics. So engineering depends on physics. Albert Einstein, arguably the greatest physicist of all time, his job was a patent clerk. So he was like checking people's inventions. Why? That's how you could apply physics knowledge. Like downstream of physics is like creating little contraptions and patenting them. So, where does it end up? Normal people creating like actual things with AI that you could sell and that are useful. Mm-hmm. So you'll have the return of like citizens patenting things, which I think will be really cool.
What are your thoughts on AI hardware?
Like
robotics, wearables?
I'm excited by it. Like I would be an early adopter of that. I am less excited about, at least, I have two thoughts about it. One is I'm a little bit less excited about having these robots that I'm seeing advertised in my house, like washing my dishes or picking up my kids' toys.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, I was like, why do all these things look like the Terminator?
Yeah.
They all look terrifying, right?
Purpose, right? Yeah.
Why do you make them look like the Terminator? Why don't you have... I would have C-3PO in my house. Bumbling...
Like a less intimidating one.
Yeah, they all look scary.
Yeah, make it look cute.
My guess, if I had to... And I could be wrong, of course. Maybe the product market fit for those will be picking up your kids' toys or washing dishes.
So replacing your wife?
I would look at things where... they're at your house, but you don't have to interact with them, or you don't have to be home. Like construction site. Mm-hmm. I think humanoid robots in a construction site is probably like a better use case. If I could just have them build my house when I'm not there or fix it, I'd much rather do that. So yeah, I think it's clear that it's coming. We've been making a lot of progress. We're probably not too far away from being able to buy them. I think like the movie Her, you guys seen that with the AirPod thing? Yeah. That's going to happen.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but I think a lot of people, I think that form factor will happen.
You'd say you'd be afraid to have them in your house doing like cleaning up in the house, and it would just, you wouldn't be in favor of that?
For me personally, right now, I haven't seen one that I would get excited about having in my house. Yeah, I don't think I've seen it yet.
Yeah, the moment your robot starts talking back to you too, then it's going to be a real issue.
You're not winning that fight.
No.
Yeah.
You think people will have like robot girlfriends one day?
There was a movie on Netflix about that with Megan Fox. Did you see that?
No.
Well, if it looks like Megan Fox, then I might be interested. I
mean, I think that you're already having people, there's been articles about this. I haven't seen it myself, but character AI. Have you heard of character AI? So this was this company, Noam Shazir started it. It got basically gobbled up by Google in some strange transaction. So someone told me, hey, there's a Vlad Tenev. There's 3 Vlad Tenevs on character AI. I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean there's a Vlad Tenev? There's a Vlad Tenev bot on character AI. So I downloaded it to check it out. And this thing was a sex bot. So do you guys know the movie that Dumb Money?
You have your own sex bot.
I deleted it once but yeah, it was like, all right, you're chatting with Vlad Tenev. He is at home when you come home from a hard day at work, and he's, making you a casserole, right? And you can see, I'm not going to get into the details of the rest of the conversation, but there are people out there that are chatting with AIs in a...
Well, it's probably the OnlyFans stuff you're talking about.
Well, no. My girlfriend goes to ChatGPT for relationship advice all the time. And when I went over there...
Girlfriend now, eh? It's not just my girl?
Just do girl. And the ChatGPT knew so much about me, and it freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
She needs AI to handle you.
She was talking to the ChatGPT in the living room, and I thought there was another person in there. And then I walked in, and she introduced me to the ChatGPT, and I was like, this is fucking crazy.
So that for sure is happening.
But
then there's also people talking to ChatGPT as their
like
girlfriend.
Yeah,
that's what he's talking about.
That's what I'm talking about too. It's like her best friend.
No, I know, but she's just getting advice where he's saying like it's actually a human, like they're like emotionally connected to the person.
Have you seen anybody that's at that? Like, do you have any friends or anybody that's at that stage?
They won't
Me
admit it.
personally, no. But actually, back in 1960, there was a project. It was an academic project to create. It was like one of the first AI projects called Liza or Eliza. Did you guys hear about this?
Mhm.
It was like it was supposed to be a therapist. I thought they would design a basic AI therapist that you could talk to about your problems. And this was in the 1960s, and they cut that project off because people were developing romantic feelings toward the AI therapist. It was the most primitive AI. It would basically just like ask you how you felt about it. So you'd be like, "Oh, I'm having this issue.
Thanks for
Okay, how do you
asking.
feel about it?"
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but how do you really
Yeah.
feel about it?
Yeah.
So the algorithm wasn't
Why'd they cut that off? If it seems like it was working.
well because people were developing romantic feelings toward it. So it got weird.
Back then, I feel like now, then they would approve it now.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Terrifying.
I don't know if that's good or bad for society, but it's definitely happening.
Yeah, it's can't be stopped.
Well, they talk about too. It's like now people don't even communicate as
I'll
much.
tell you
in
one
public.
thing. Aristotle will not do this.
Yeah.
I hope. I don't know. Not at this point. I don't think anyone has a romantic relationship
Aristotle's
with
going to
Aristotle
want to make us
just
go back to school.
That's
Well,
awesome.
excited for that. Yeah, excited for everything, man. So,
Well, thank you, Vlad. We appreciate
Thank
you,
you,
bro.
Vlad.
yeah.
What is
This
this
is-
Happy Dad fruit punch?
This is
Oh.
our alcohol brand. It's a hard,
really?
hard
Yeah,
seltzer,
yeah.
hard tea, lemonade. So we launched it about 4 years ago.
It's no mocktails. It's all alcoholic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
light alcohol, 5% alcohol, hard seltzer. That's our tea variation. We have a hard seltzer. We also have a lemonade in partnership with Realtree. Yeah, our business is using our platforms to build CPG brands. So going in and looking at different categories that are growing that could use disruption. So Happy Dad, well, Full Send merch was the first one, but then Happy Dad, which is grown. It's
Yeah.
a top 3 seltzer in most states, top 4 in some. Just going after really the person who just wants a light drink, getting away from beer or hard liquor.
Totally. I like the hats too.
Yeah.
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 We'll trade a hat for
Are
a
you
gold,
guys
trade a
dads?
hat for a gold card.
Yeah.
I'm a new
Yeah.
dad. I'm
New
a
dad?
Yeah, I got a 6-month-old right here.
Oh.
Yeah. They're not dads that they know of. We'll find out in 16 years.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. All right. Thank you.
Awesome.
Vlad. Appreciate
Thank you,
you,
bro.
man.
Yeah. Fun chatting.